Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Trinidad and Tobago is doing well, but not booming. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 16th May 2022. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Multi-Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago says that his country is benefiting from more oil and natural gas revenues at this time, but he would not describe it as a boom. Dr. Rowley also confirmed that the new revenue is being used to service the government's debt, some of which are expensive short-term arrangements. Jewel Brown of TV6 News reports.
During his news conference on Thursday, TV6 News posed a question to the Prime Minister about the acknowledgement by Energy Minister Stuart Young on CNN's Quest Means Business that oil and natural gas producing Trinidad and Tobago is earning more revenue due to higher prices for both commodities and their downstream products on the international markets. Do you have any estimate in terms of how much more revenue Trinidad and Tobago is earning at this time?
It is not insignificant, but it is not a boom, right? And it is helpful.
The Prime Minister then recalled the deficit his administration faced when it was first elected into office.
The budget of 2015 that went in 2016, we had a $13 billion deficit in that budget. Remember that? The very first budget. We had to find $13 billion to keep body and soul together here. And that was borrowings. And then we had a little less going forward until we got to COVID.
The Prime Minister said up to the point when the COVID pandemic first arrived in Trinidad and Tobago in March of 2020, the government was on its way to get close to a balanced budget. As Minister Young said on CNN that the government will be using the additional revenue at this time to pay its bills.
But COVID came, and once again, we had to go into borrowing again, huge amounts of monies to spend to handle the COVID situation. So what we have in hand is a large basket of debt. So if we get some more or some improvement on the revenue side, the first call is to make us a little better off on the debt side, because some of these debts are short-term debts, and prudence would require that you treat with them as such, because short-term means expensive debt. So if we get some more money, we can't open up new avenues of expenditure willy-nilly.
The Prime Minister said there's another aspect of the higher global oil and natural gas prices that factors into the equation.
The real problem we're having now is that this good price in the marketplace is happening at a time when we are at our lowest levels of production. That is a real problem, because the market price is very good. But if you're having a nice price but a low volume, you might get a little more, but you're not getting, significantly more.
Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
Meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Rowley said again on Thursday that he has no evidence to support any calls for the opposition United National Congress to take action against one of his cabinet members because of the contents of a special branch report. Stressing that he's not defending anyone, the Prime Minister said he can only act if there is evidence to do so, not on intelligence gathered, based on observations. TV6's Jewel Brown again reports.
In my government, if any member of my government, including myself, have a problem with the law, then the law will and must take its course. And I defy the UNC to say the same thing with a straight face.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley during a news conference on Thursday as he responded to the UNC's calls to take action against Youth Development and National Service Minister Foster Cummings because of the contents of a special branch report about him.
Mr. Cummins, who was the person against who the allegations were made, he spoke to you. I don't know of any contrary information than what he put forward. But for some people, the fact that allegations are in a special branch document is good enough to be one side, and the other side is what the minister has said. But for me, I could only deal with the investigated proof. And I can tell the country, as of today, I have seen nothing to confirm what the UNC has been waving on that platform.
Dr. Rowley said only cabinet members are not allowed to own, operate, or be part of a private business while in office. The Prime Minister walked with a bundle of documents, which he referred to as the report he received from Special Branch that contained the 5 allegations against Minister Cummings, dated July 19, 2019, when he was a government senator, not a member of the cabinet.
I told you before, Mr. Cummings was a senator for years. Free to do work, free to have his company, free to look for work and get work. I don't know any crime involved there except on a UNC platform.
The Prime Minister also addressed other contents in the Special Branch report.
I have seen reference to 3 ownership. 1, directly from the HCC as a citizen. I don't know any law is broken there. And 2, properties owned by people who had got them from the HDC and put them on the market many years later, purchased by Mr. Cummins' family. That is what the investigation has thrown up. But of course, somebody put it in a Special Branch report, saying that you teach previously the land and you want the Prime Minister to act.
The Special Branch is an elite unit of the police service that has the responsibility of protecting the President, the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, and other public officials, and is also responsible for gathering intelligence.
If there is something for the police to act on, then I would expect that the police will act on it, because it is the police that would have been informing me. And if there was nothing for the police to act on, and if I see nothing in these documents to support the allegation, then I have no basis to take any action, but to regard it as yet another instance of the UNC spreading misinformation and personal attacks in this country.
Minister Cummings has since filed legal action seeking a retraction and an apology from opposition Senator Jayanti Lakshmidyal, who first revealed the Special Branch report on a UNC platform. Dr. Rowley also explained that the Special Branch operates under a unique arrangement that was established in 1954.
The Special Branch reports police work, observation, report directly to the Prime Minister what they observe in the citizenry, in the population, from a national security interest standpoint. There are times when the Special Branch would report to the Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister, and there are times when they will not put that report to the Commissioner of Police.
TV6 News sought clarification from the Prime Minister. As you said, the Prime Minister ought not to give operational directions or instructions to the police.
There is no link between the Prime Minister's receiving information for national security and any impropriety with respect to the independence of the Commissioner of Police, who is the authority in directing police action of all kinds.
Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
In other news, the head of the COVID-19 monitoring unit in Barbados urges citizens to protect themselves and take responsibility.
Don't drop your guard. The head of the COVID-19 monitoring unit, Ronald Chapman, today challenged Barbadians to protect themselves from the coronavirus. New infections continue to be high, averaging around 500 per day, and he's concerned that too many people are not sticking to the protocols.
What is a little disturbing is that we're seeing persons relax in terms of the mask wearing. And we're seeing some places which are also relaxing the implementation of the hand sanitizing. And this is critical in the fight against COVID-19. We are also seeing places like public transport where we're seeing overcrowding on public transport again. So those are some things that we have some issues with. What we have been doing at the unit is that we have been focusing our attentions in areas where there's high vulnerability, old age, elderly care facilities, the schools, the nurseries, and places like that.
He stressed the need for personal responsibility amid complaints that some people have not been complying with the mask mandate.
People have to take responsibility for themselves. The Ministry of Health can't do it alone. The COVID unit cannot be there with people every step of the way. People have to make that decision as to who they will have conversation with, and whether or not they have conversations with persons who are not wearing masks. And this is at the end of the day, this is the important thing. How are we maintaining those protocols that allows us to mitigate the spread of COVID?
Air traffic controllers in Jamaica are on a work to rule, resulting in the cancellation of several flights to and from Jamaica.
The country's airspace and the tourism sector could be jeopardized following industrial action by the Jamaica Air Traffic Controllers Association, JATCA. On Wednesday night, the island's airspace was closed as air traffic controllers scaled back service to protest operational breaches at the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA. The airspace reopened at 7 this morning. However, it's understood the air traffic controllers were informed by the JCAA's management that the radar system used to man the airspace is faulty and could malfunction. It's reported that since yesterday, the workers decided to stop carrying out radar services, leaving management personnel to carry out those duties. When contacted, President of the Jamaica Air Traffic Controllers Association, Kurt Solomon, confirmed that the group served an ultimatum on the JCAA to address the deficiencies with the equipment.
What that means is that currently in our, what we call our radar room, the air traffic controllers are present at work, but they are not taking position responsibility. The association was recently advised by the technical teams from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority that the radar system will fail. It has a defect. We had opted to retrofit our radar systems with new equipment. It's not working out. We have been having constant problems since 2017 with the systems. We have been in constant dialogue with the management about it.
Mr. Solomon said the air traffic controllers decided to take action as no time frame was given when the radar equipment would be repaired.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pear says while efforts are being made to target the needs of marginalized girls and women, young men in similar circumstances must not be forgotten. He made the request earlier last week while addressing the launch of the Build Back Equal project. More in this DBS News World report with Don Nicholas.
As he addressed Tuesday's launch of the Build Back Equal project, Prime Minister Philip J. Pear outlined interventions by his government to address the social and economic needs of marginalized women in society. One of the issues had to do with employment opportunities.
I note that the topic suggests that there is great similarity between the focus of this project and the philosophy of my government's development trust. That is, putting people at the center of development. But putting people at the center of development has become more complicated, particularly after the COVID pandemic.
However, while efforts are being made to address the needs of the female folk, young men in the same situation, according to the Prime Minister, must not be forgotten. He noted that the average age of male inmates at the Borderley Correctional Facility is younger than 30, and he observed that underprivileged young men are becoming more desperate and usually resort to violence against women. The Domestic Violence Bill, according to the Prime Minister, is tailored to address the root causes of this problem.
This is why in St. Lucia, we passed a domestic violence bill. Not as a deterrent, yes, but to bring to the there's domestic violence, and we need to have some level of intervention to stop that level of abuse.
Prime Minister Pierre also stressed the need for both genders to work together to put an end to domestic abuse. For the DBS News World, I'm Don Nicholas.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.